Good morning, Softball America. Happy 2026 from us to you. It is Tuesday, January 6th. We have officially entered a new year with softball that will begin in, as of yesterday, 1 month. Opening day was 1 month from yesterday for many of us who will be playing on that Thursday. We are glad that you're here on the show. We are happy to be back as well after a hopefully restful and not jet-setting holiday season. Although I'm speaking for myself, I don't necessarily know about my partner. I'm Gray Robertson. That is Tara Henry. Tara, how many countries have you visited since we last did a show together?
Well, I think I stayed in States. I think this is a first. I believe we've done a show since I got back from England, so I stayed in the States. But I was on the plane a few times. But it was just, first and foremost, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I am so excited that we're 30 days away from Division I softball opening day, and I feel the excitement. I just saying 1 month away, it's within reach. And I know once season starts, it'll be a frenzy. But I've got those butterflies and excited to talk some softball, not just college softball, but also pro softball, and high school softball starts here as well. So there's just a lot to go around. So hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I love the chat. The chat is popping already.
Oh, yeah. We got people coming and leaving questions because here's the thing, folks. This is, in a lot of ways, a mailbag episode. We want to hear from you. I have a couple things written down that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about AUSL. We're very, very close to city announcements. We're going to talk about Team USA down in Australia and the dominant performance from Patty Gasso's club. There were 2 hits allowed all week. I mean, it was pretty impressive. But we want to hear from you because the next few shows that we do will be full previews. We're going to have our season preview in the next couple weeks. We're going to go through all the conferences. We're going to be churning out a lot of content in that we're going to be doing a lot of the talking. So we wanted to allow for a show and an hour, an opportunity for all of you out there to ask the questions that you want answered. It can be about anything related to softball. We've already got some college questions, some AUSL questions, anything you might want to know, please put it in the chat. And Tara, what is the best way to take part in the chat and also make sure that you don't miss any other pods or videos that Softball America puts out?
Well, make sure that you subscribe to Softball America on YouTube. If you're over on X, hop on over to YouTube. It's easier for us to see your comments over there as well. And make sure you put them in the chat. We will still see them, even if you put them underneath this live on X. We will still see your questions. But again, I think we've got a few that were submitted beforehand. We'll talk a little bit about all those things that we went over at the top of the show. But again, just happy to be here with everybody and get things going.
All right, before we start, Tara, tell everyone, what is your 2026 New Year's resolution?
Ooh, it's so interesting because I was actually thinking about that this morning, and I figured you were going to ask me that question, just knowing while I was getting ready. And I don't really have a New Year's resolution per se, maybe to be more cognizant of, diet and exercise on the road, because I think we're on the road a lot. But I made this really delicious egg and cheese wrap in a protein tortilla that I found, and I put it in the air fryer, and I was just really present with making my breakfast this morning. And I think just going to be a little bit more present during meals with family, with friends, because we can be so focused on our screens and focused on our jobs and all that. And I think it's being more present with those that I'm around and that I'm with, including you and all of you on this podcast as well.
I like that. I have two as well, and they're kind of tied in, actually. I want to cook more at home because
Ooh.
I eat out a lot, perhaps too much.
Yep.
And you know what? Sometimes I can just run to Publix and buy some chicken and make a dinner here. That's fine. I don't have to go to some restaurant here in Tuscaloosa. And also, I have a lot of friends who live not in the city where I live, but around, an hour and a half. A couple friends in Atlanta. Tara is one of those. And I would like to find a way. I know softball season is hard because we either have a game or we're getting ready for a game, basically from February until June. But I want to, do better at going to see a lot of the people that matter to me that I don't get to see very much, even though it's kind of dumb because they live pretty close. So that's my New Year's resolution. If y'all have any New Year's resolutions in the chat, please pop in. We already have lots of folks saying hi. Kenneth Ridley says hello. Xavier, I'm going to pop up your hello in a moment because it includes a question, which we appreciate. Fang saying hi before jumping into a work meeting. Hello, Fang. Julie, good morning, everyone. We've got Cheyenne. Good morning. We get to watch softball. She also did the thing. Good morning to the Groovy Gray and the Totally Tubular Tara. Annie, good morning. Happy New Year. 30 days from opening day. And, my burner is here as well. Grant Gray up in the chat saying good morning. Rebecca saying Happy New Year. So Happy New Year. Hello to everybody. And do you want to start with questions or do you want to start with a couple of the big topics and let the questions keep filtering in the chat, Tara?
We've got lots of questions, but we can talk about the big kind of topics that we went over. But I just wanted to reiterate, it was a grated egg cheesy roll-up. That's what I had this morning. And it had 40 grams of protein, 32 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat. And it was like a grated eggs, mozzarella, Greek yogurt, green onion, and 3 small high-protein, low-carb style tortillas. It was like so delicious.
Yum.
I know. I need to put this recipe up because I feel like everybody should have this. But let's go to our big topics, and then let's hit all these questions so please keep asking your questions because we're going to get to them in about 5 minutes.
Okay, love that. All right, let's start with AUSL. Yes. So we are closing in on the city's announcements. It feels like more clues are coming together, not necessarily dropped by AUSL, but just putting together kind of what we think everyone is going to do. I understand a lot of buzz about Tuscaloosa and the Talons. I'm gonna be honest. That probably ain't happening, y'all. But it's very interesting to kind of see the guesses and excitement that is coming around this announcement that is now, about a week away, a little less than a week away.
So are you confirming that the Talons are not in Tuscaloosa?
I'm not going to confirm that because no one has straight up told me it's not happening, but I'm just reading the vibes and the tea leaves. Gotcha. That doesn't necessarily mean Tuscaloosa won't be involved. I wouldn't be shocked if they did the championship here again or something like that. But I would be quite surprised if it ends up being the Talons here full time.
I mean, that would be spectacular if that was the case. I think in having the championship, obviously there were some weather issues, but that's something that you're not going to, not have a home team there. But I do think Rosemont is going to be a location. I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't know. I would assume that it's the Bandits. We've said that, but again, there's no official, that's not official for the next week here. And then obviously Oklahoma City is in Oklahoma with the Spark. But I do think we'll have a Pacific Northwest team. I mean, that's me guessing. I haven't heard anything, but when you say Cascade, I would think maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
The Cascade, I think it'll be either Portland or Seattle.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm excited. I love this rollout. I love what Athletes Unlimited does to get everybody excited about what's about to happen. I mean, the golden ticket a year ago sold on that, and now this rollout of these locations. I can't say enough about the sport, and we've got other pro leagues popping up all over the place, and hopefully those will be used as feeder leagues or other big leagues. I don't know how I feel about the competition piece, but I do feel like you could potentially have some minor league-ish type of teams that then will help build and fill into the AUSL.
Yeah, more softball is good. I mean, I'm never going to be mad about more softball. I agree that I think that there are things we could be doing to bring the connectivity of all the pro options out there a little better. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like kind of in some cases, like if it hasn't happened by now, it's probably not going to happen. So you kind of just have two separate entities, and that's going to be that.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. But we'll see how it all shakes out. I'll probably be at a good bit of stuff this summer based on how my schedule has gone in the past. So we'll be able to update on the growth of all the leagues as the summer rolls around.
Yeah, and I want to hear what the chat thinks. Where do you guys think that locations are going to be? Where would you hope that they were going to be? Because there are a few options. So again, I want to hear from the chat on where you think those locations are going to be.
We got Cheyenne popping in here. Austin area, OKC, Seattle, Chicago, LA area, and Alabama/Georgia. I will say, the Tuscaloosa Talons piece, again, I do not think the Talons will be playing the full season at Rhodes. There are a lot of places in Alabama and in Georgia, to Cheyenne's point, where it would make sense for a team to settle down. So, look, Alabama fans, if you just we're sitting here going, wait, we can't watch Montana every day, you still might. They might be in Oxford. They might be in Columbus, Georgia. There are places around the South. I do think it would be wise for the AUSL, if it's not Tuscaloosa, to make sure that a team is in this general area. I think the championship attendance and just the fandom of softball in this part of the world in the Southeast has shown that people would show up for a team if there's one there. And so it would be wise. I mean, obviously all these decisions have already been made, but it would be wise for one of those teams to be in this footprint of the country and not so much Texas and west of Texas.
Yes, I agree with you, Gray. And another thing, anybody that's been in charge of a team, whether it be a travel ball team, a college team, an international team, a pro team, the most expensive line item on your budget is always going to be air travel. It's going to be hotels and air travel. So I think being cognizant of that is really important. Being able to bus places is not ideal per se, but I'd always much rather get on a bus than fly if it's within, a 3 to 4 hour time frame, because it just takes that much time to get on an airplane anyways. And I don't like what an airplane does to our bodies in general. So for me, I think being close to one another, like you said, Gray, is going to be an advantage. I do think obviously they're going to have to fly if they're all over the country, but I think it would be advantageous to be able to bus like they do in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Got to start somewhere at people. Like, I know everybody wants it to be this big grand production, but you've got to build, you've got to show up. We've got to have people in the seats every single day. We've got to put a good product on the field. Easy for me to say, but I do think we did that last year, and hopefully there's some momentum here for women's softball.
So real quick housekeeping. Are we going to go live when the announcements are made next week, just for like a quick little? Okay.
Yeah, if you guys would like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to put that tentatively on the calendar.
Yeah. We can all discuss it.
Yeah. Anything else at AUSL before we go to Team USA?
No, I'm excited. I love this. I love this rollout, and I can't wait to see where everybody's going to land.
Me too. The announcement is coming in the next few days. Can't wait. We will have a show at some point immediately or the next morning or whatever. Stay tuned for the schedule. We'll put that on socials. I hit the mic again. Sorry. Team USA went to Australia. Patty Gasso leading the way. You had Tana. You had Megan the Machine for Ramo, Carlin Flamethrower Pickens down there. You had Sierra Sacco ripping it up. Alyssa Brito was unbelievable down in Australia. You had blowouts galore. I mean, Team USA was cooking. Tara, I know you were tracking it. I will say stats a little hard to come by in some cases for this, but Team USA did a really good job of updating the graphics. They always put out that great graphic that lets you know how a game went down. What struck you as you were watching the highlights and watching the games and keeping up with everything going on down under?
Yeah, no, I think it's Alyssa Brito. We said this, I think, in the draft. I was huge on Alyssa Brito. I like the energy that she brings. I was really, really impressed with her. What I noticed the most is you're seeing a U.S. team that is more athletic, more versatile. You're seeing players play numerous positions. They're switching. Aubrey Leach was in the infield, then she's in the outfield. You see Hannah Flippen playing every single position on the infield, and I think we're seeing a more of a versatile Team USA than we ever have before. Now, this was in preparation to hopefully get softball in the Olympics in 2032. For those of you that don't understand the process, softball is still not in the Olympics as on a regular program. It is a supplemental sport. It needs to be in the Olympics for 3 consecutive games in order for it to stay on the program. Now, LA, obviously, will be in LA. Brisbane, if softball is in Brisbane in 2032, fingers crossed what that next Olympic Games is going to be, because that's going to really detail on whether or not softball will be on the regular program. Do I think this trip to Australia helped? Yes, I do. I think it helped bring together the Aussies and Australia softball. I'm a little bit hesitant, Gray, to be honest with you, because of the run rules, because of the amount of runs scored, knowing what an Olympic committee looks like. But with that said, they're still 6 years away and are a really, really young team. So that bodes well for development. But I will say this, and this is something that I had worked on for over a decade. I love international development. I went to get my master's degree in sport for international development in peace at the University of Brighton. Development works best when you stay and invest in it. So it's great to go for a week, but what we need to do as a collective whole, as a collective being in the sport of softball, is to send our coaches, is to send our players for 3 months, 6 months, a year. And Japan does a really good job of that, Gray. I don't know if you're really well aware. They send out players and coaches to various countries. And I think that's something that we can do as a collective whole, is get coaches out to these various countries, because that is the most important thing. If we want softball to stay in the Olympics, we've got to make everyone else stronger. So that's me on my soapbox. But other than that, they kicked butt. That pitching staff, having to face any of those pitchers, that is elite. Like, that's like a pro team playing really, really younger Aussie team. So you saw the disparities there. But I will say, I think by that 3rd or 4th game, the Aussies realized, hey, we've got this and we can play with Team USA. So all in all, I think it was really good. It was really good to shine a spotlight on Brisbane. And I hope that the Olympic Committee sees how many people were there and how much they enjoyed it and how great it is for women's sports.
I want to spin it back, because I agree with the pitching piece, and like, God bless you, Patty Gasso and selection committee for 2028. Y'all got to pick like 3 to 4 arms out of a list that's going to be pretty long and getting longer as we get closer to 2028. But you mentioned, wanting to get coaches from Team USA, or from the states, period, around the world, helping to grow some of these international programs. How much conversation is happening between the international head coaches? I know you and Coach Gasso have a working relationship and also a personal relationship. You're friends, but is there much talking amongst everybody else in the world who's running some of these countries and these programs?
Oh, absolutely. And just at the NFCA, there was an international caucus there. So there were all the coaches that were interested in our national softball. Mostly Softball Europe was there, and doing that connection. I think figuring out how to pair a country with a program would be really beneficial. I do think there are people talking about it, but I do think we can do a better job, because yes, it's one thing to win a medal, but in order for our sport to stay around, you can kind of look at the New Zealand All Blacks, Gray. I don't know if you're familiar with the rugby, the Kiwis, what they were able to do with rugby. And I think the All Blacks dominated rugby, and they were able to do that for a many amount of years. And then they started sending coaches and players out all across the world. And you would argue that there's a lot of parity now in rugby. So I think we're at that point in our sport where we need to be proactive. We need to be proactive and make sure that the health of our sport is not just Japan and USA, because Gray, you can take a look at the medal table and know that it's a Pan-Pacific sport. It's basically been Japan and the US. Canada's been in there, China's been in there, the Aussies have been in there, but we need to expand and make sure that our sport is healthy all throughout the world.
The chat is going off about the pitching. Yo, I don't know. I mean, like, you had just in Australia again, Montana, Megan, Carlin, Kelly, pretty untouchable against a team that would be a contender, presumably, to bronze if they had the Olympics.
In the world. Like, it's not like you're facing 25th in the world or 50th
right.
in the world. You know what I mean? This is a top 10 in the world team. And having to face Kelly Maxwell, Montana Fouts, which, by the way, is throwing lights out. She just was sitting above 70. And
I'm gonna make a declaration, and I say this as someone who watched a lot of clips. But after seeing her in AUSL, I kind of think Montana's throwing the best of her career right now.
She is,
and
I agree with you 100%.
Like that's gonna be undeniable. And when you've got Rachel Garcia, Fang up in here dropping Sandercock as well, you'll have a Kennedy and a Pickens.
She was there.
Yeah.
They interviewed her, I think, in game 4. Just so everyone knows, there's a Gillies Shield, which is a national tournament in Australia right now. I believe it's on Facebook. I can try and grab those links for you. But I know Georgina's down there, and there's a ton of U.S. pitchers down there as well. So fun games to watch there down in Australia. But she was interviewed during, I think, the 4th game. Catherine Sandercock was there.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
It's going to be tough. It's an embarrassment of riches. That is it's going to be really tough to score runs on that team. Just the pitching, just even that pitching staff with obviously Garcia available. We just talked about Sandercock, Ali Carta, who obviously has now known and been there. But again, I think it's a tough mix when you're having to prepare for Montana Fouts, Kelly Maxwell, Megan Faremo, and Carlin Pickens. There's just a lot of flamethrowers.
It's entirely possible that when we get to 2028, like 4 of the top 10 pitchers in the world don't even make it on their national team.
Yeah. I know.
Anything else, Team USA, Australia series, anything like that before we go to the mailbag?
No, I'm excited. I love that we're talking about international softball as well. I mean, it's huge. Obviously, U.S. going down there, we're now talking about softball Australia and the Aussies. So as the U.S. continues to do that and raise the profile, and I know Patty is really big on that. She's really big on that in the college game. And I think we couldn't have a better ambassador to go and make sure that the sport is healthy, not only in the States, but all across the world.
Yeah. All right, let's hit up the fans. I do have some stuff that was sent before. We'll sprinkle that in, but I want to try and keep pace with the live chat as best we can. I said I would flash up Xavier's question and comment. Good morning and Happy New Year. Super excited about the AUSL location announcement coming next week. When they make the announcement, will the stadiums be announced too, or just a city/metro area? I do not know the answer specifically. My assumption will be, though, that all those contracts are signed and it would make sense to announce that all in one fell swoop.
I would agree with you. I don't know 100% for sure, like you, Gray, but I would assume we're going to know location and stadium.
Yeah, look, again, I'm not reporting anything on this show. I'm just reading the vibes. I'm the vibe reader here in T-Town.
Yeah.
Kenneth Ridley, my burning question is, how does the SEC determine the schedules? I love this question.
They just roll the dice.
Well, there is a computer program.
I knew you were going to like that.
Hey, the people in the conference office, as someone who knows the man who did the football scheduling for like 30 years, I've understood more and more as how this has gone on, how they've had to adapt with expansion and also with technology. Like back in the day, they would just like have a whiteboard and do everything by hand and then put it out. Now they can actually input it into a computer program and make sure that it's randomized and make sure that, you know, you're able to play everybody across a 4-year period, home and away. That's the way that the schedule is designed. So a lot of it is random luck. I'll be honest, who you play and who you don't play each and every year, but a computer program and you know that the conference office utilizes is doing its best to create even schedules that make a lot of sense. Timing wise, I assume the computer does that part. I don't necessarily know that, but I know that matchups, a lot of that is designed to make sure that everybody plays each other and that the schedules are balanced for the student athlete. Now, competitive balance probably isn't factored in necessarily because that's impossible to predict, but you do want every student athlete to play at each city in the SEC during their college career at least once, and you want them to be able to play a team at home at least once in their college career. That's the specific designation that program has.
So you basically just rolling the dice.
Sure. You had that ready to go and you were just waiting for me to shut up.
No, I agree with you. You want to be able to play at every stadium in the SEC and throughout your entire career. I think that is one of the selling points of playing in the SEC is playing in all those various stadiums across the conference. So playing in each and every one of them is really, really important. But again, I don't envy the person that's having to try and do all those schedules. That's a lot. But it can be advantageous if you do have a favorable schedule. We've talked about this numerous times, Gray, and you and I have both seen it. When a team has a favorable schedule, it's just an easier path. Yes. Sometimes they take advantage of it. Sometimes they don't. But those that do take advantage of it, we see an easier path, and that helps in that SEC title, not having to play some of the top teams.
All right, let's go to Julie's question. What team are you most excited to see play?
Ooh.
The one you think will be a surprise this year. I've done a lot of talking in the last few minutes, Tara. I'll let you answer this question first.
That's a good question. Who am I most excited to see play? I think Texas Tech. I mean, that's probably the easiest one to go to, but I really am just intrigued to see how that squad comes together with tons of talent, multiple All-Americans transferring in there, how Nyjah and Caitlin Terry work together, what Jerry's been able to do with those athletes in the fall. So I would say I'm really excited to see them play. I want to see if they live up to the hype. And then who do I think will be a surprise this year? I think Georgia. I think Georgia's going to get back on track. I do think the addition of Addison Fisher in the bullpen. I do think the Georgia Bulldogs had a tough season last year, and I do think they're going to get back on track, and they're kind of my dark horse. I think that's a team to kind of keep an eye on. And Tony Baldwin and Lou just was inducted to the Hall of Fame. They had a huge celebration with all the former Bulldogs at the NFCA. So I think, I'm going with Texas Tech and Georgia, and then UCLA. How UCLA does with the loss of Caitlin Terry, and does Taylor Tinsley, which we know she's incredibly talented. She's got so many weapons. Is she going to be able to really carry the load for the Bruins? But I think they're going to be okay in the Big Ten, but we'll see how their pre-conference schedule goes, Gray, because that's a team that is going to go through it. It really is.
Kelly, I
know.
Girl, what? I mean, that schedule's nuts.
I know.
That schedule's nuts. Shout out to the Bruins. They said we will not back down. We will have the number one strength of schedule this year. Thank you very much. I mean,
so I know you asked for one, but I think I gave you three.
No, that's perfectly appropriate. What team are you most excited to see play? My answer is Nebraska. So I've got a couple reasons for this because I can look at Nebraska's run last year in a very like, wow, this is cool kind of way, or a super conceited sports media Twitter head kind of way. I can look at it and go, Nebraska got Jordy Ball back from injury and went to supers, had a great run in the Big Ten, like had a great year, made it to supers, we're a game away from OKC. I could also look at it as Nebraska got out of a regional where they never played the host and went to supers and blew a 1-0 lead. That's one way to look at it. Now we're putting, coming into 2026, a lot of expectations on not just Jordy Ball, but on everybody around because of the work that Rhonda Revelle and this program has done to add pieces around her with Hannah Core. And you got a lot of returners coming back. You got the Bacons and the DiNardos and everybody else who can really, really take that next step. Now I want to see if they can do it. We know Jordy's going to be good. Can the help around her be enough to make Nebraska the legit contender that I think a lot of us are assuming, frankly, that they will be in 2026? So that makes Nebraska, for me, one of the teams I am most excited to see actually with my eyes on the field this year.
I love that. Jordy Fromm, right? Her new.
I'm sorry. Yes, Jordy Fromm. That's going to take some getting used to. I'm sorry, Jordy.
It's okay. We got you, Jordy. I love that. That was actually going to be maybe one of my picks, but I'm glad that I didn't use it because I agree with you, Gray, on all of those points. And this is going to be a season for the Huskers. Again, we take a look at all these Big Ten schedules and who teams are facing. I think we're going to find out what the Huskers are all about here with their pre-conference schedule, which we'll go through. We're going to go through everybody's.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. I thought Nebraska kind of botched some of their non-con opportunities last year by not throwing Jordy Fromm. I'm gonna do my best again. I'm sorry, Jordy. Look, I'm the kind of person that like all my friends when they get married, it's like very hard for me to change their names because I've known them for so long. So I apologize to Jordy. We're going to get it right. But they didn't throw Jordy all that much in some of the big non-con games last year. They're going to have more opportunities this year in Clearwater and some other places. My assumption is we'll see Jordy in a lot of those big games because I can make the argument that the pitching plan at the Mary Nutter and some other places is why Nebraska didn't host a regional last year. So that'll be something else to watch as we get into the non-conference.
Yeah, and we were talking about, I think it was the Nutter. We were wondering if Jordy was going to throw in the Nutter.
Against UCLA.
If she was going to throw against UCLA. So, again, we're going to see how that strategy works or it doesn't work. Well, you could argue it did work. They went to the Supers.
Yeah, but they didn't, I don't know. Seeding is important, I will say.
I agree.
My surprise team, does it count if I say Oklahoma State? Like, I don't know. I don't even know if I have a reason for it. I just don't. Like, Kenny G didn't forget how to coach softball. Last year was a blip in the radar. This is going to be a pretty good team again. And I'm a little worried that a lot of us, myself included, spoiler alert, votes are in and being counted for the preseason top 25. I worry that a lot of us are a little low on Oklahoma State, including myself. So I wouldn't be shocked if Oklahoma State is the kind of team that surprises people.
Yeah, I'm going to see where I have Oklahoma State. Yeah, the votes are being tallied right now, I believe, by Brady.
Yeah.
But, I think the Cowgirls are going to be a different look of Cowgirls. I think they've gone back to basics. And you're right, Gray. I think Kenny knows how to get his teams to play. And this is going to be a fun team to watch heading into season. I agree with you. They're circled on my sheet here as well. I think a fun one to watch, like you said, with the finish last year.
All right, Jason, I feel like the biggest burning question for the 2026 season has to be what kind of new and exciting things can we make Gray do this year on the pod? We'll see. I've already been in contact with Nicole about a dirt. She's living like running marathons in Hawaii, so it's been very hard to get together. But we are going to be bringing the dirt back. And I will probably end up eating at places I've never eaten before and doing things that I never expected to do because Nicole makes me.
Did you tap dance? I can't remember.
I did, and it was a catastrophe.
Yeah, you guys have to come up with some fun things for Gray to do. There's a lot of questions.
Oh, I know. I got to catch up. I'm sorry, chat. Julie, give me 2 way too early picks for OKC.
Ooh.
Texas and Oklahoma. Done.
I'm going Texas. Way too early. Texas Tech, Oklahoma.
I look.
Oh, you have questions about Tech. I see it.
I do have questions about Tech.
I love it. Let's talk about them. Big sigh.
They're not even like softball related. It's internally, and I just want to see how this all congeals. That's a lot of personalities in one room. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the chemistry and the way everything goes together, and the players and the parents and the coaches and everything in between. So I want to see it. I'm sure Texas Tech will be very good. Very good. Probably going to be ranked pretty high in our preseason top 25, if I had to guess, based on the ballots. So Texas Tech will be good at softball. Would they be my first 2 picks to automatically make it to OKC? No, I think Texas is worthy of that considering what they have returning. And based on the interview that I had with Patty Gasso on Media Days and the vibes around the program, Oklahoma is about to be right back to behemoth Oklahoma, which they were for many years and were frankly last year, except for like the very end. So I think that those 2 teams are solid choices for me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but I know you've got questions about Texas Tech. I just think Jerry Glasgow is going to figure that all out. That's just one of the things he's really good at. He's done it for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Jerry. Well, not everybody, but most people.
Let's get look. Everybody can't be loved, but we all want to be respected. It's true.
First one of 2026.
Oh no, I'm gonna get clipped. Fang, wouldn't be the first time I've been clipped though in the last 365 days. I'm putting a video. Did you all talk about Warren retirement from Team USA? We have not discussed that. Jesse Warren, what a force over at third base for so many years. You could say has probably one of the top 2, if not number 1, plays in the last 20 years at OKC. I would go the other contender would be the Odyssey dive on the bunt at home plate. Those are probably the 1 and 2 in some order. But what a career at Florida State, national champion, and then such a focal piece, not just of Team USA, but AUSL, AUX, AU when it was just that, and so many other aspects. I mean, USSSA Pride, she was playing there before AU was really getting going. I called one of her home run derbies once. Like she has been such a force in the sport, and she will very much be missed. What a player.
Yeah, what a baller. Person, like you have so much. I personally have so much joy watching her play the game, and she plays with joy. She wants you to turn the TV on and watch and see what play she's going to make. And yes, it was. Congratulations on an incredible career, first and foremost, to Jessie Warren. Sad that she's not going to be with Team USA, because I think she's a huge integral part of that, and a good human being, and just incredible athlete. But just want to congratulate her on her career. Like you said, Gray.
And she'll be sparking it up this summer. But like I mean, if you're announcing your Team USA retirement, then that means what, like another year, maybe 2. So just what a player.
Yes, I mean, I can't say enough about her as just holding down the hot corner and just being so fun to watch, like you said, Gray. So congratulations, Jessie Warren.
Yeah. All right.
How many more? Did she say how many more years she's going to be with Spark?
I don't think so. But I don't know. I saw Jessie Warren retirement and my immediate, like I could see the diving catch on the bunt against Washington. And, again, it will be interesting though. Like that, a comment was made earlier in the chat that frees up third base on Team USA. So how does that look for 2028? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, I think Brito was playing pretty good over there.
Pretty solid audition.
Yeah, I know. Pretty incredible, but yeah.
All right,
Well,
let's
I'll be
see.
honest. I'm glad that we still get to see her play with the Spark. For some reason, I missed the part that she's still playing with the Spark.
Yeah, that
Makes me happy.
we I just don't know how much longer. But yeah,
Okay,
for Team USA.
I'm happy again. Like I'm happy for her retirement, but I'm also happy that we still get to watch her play. Very cool.
All right, Kenneth Ridley. I'm disappointed that Alabama and Florida aren't coming to Norman this year. You don't have to wait long. That's all I'll say. Da, 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 da. Oh, Xavier. Maybe I'm completely mistaken on this, but I thought I heard the SEC is moving away from campus locations for the SEC tournament at some point in the nearest future. Is that true? Well, I would recommend everyone listen to Softball Media Days on the Out of the Box podcast, because we do ask all the coaches about this report, because it was confirmed in June. Quietly, the SEC released the details from SEC spring meetings, which is happening in Destin while we're on OKC. And part of that vote was the possibility that all basketball announcers don't have to broadcast on the floor, because they can now sell that for ticketing, which if you know, you know. And two was confirmation for a neutral site SEC tournament to begin in 2027, and they would start looking for locations. That's what the ADs and SWAs agreed upon. The coaches have agreed to it. A lot of the coaches are on board. There are still a couple that are hesitant, but the majority is one there. And so, yes, right now the goal is 2027. As far as I know, they're pretty zeroed in on a location, if not already have a location selected. It just has not been announced yet. So stay tuned for that. You will hear that very soon.
I love how you drop things. And you're like, well, I can't say what it is, though. I don't know either, you guys. He just doesn't tell me either.
We'll talk after. It's Rebecca, actually. Any mid-majors you're keeping your eyes on in 2026?
Good question. FAU, as always, I think Jordan Clark does a nice job there. I know I was talking to Brady earlier, and he was saying that Conrad thinks North Florida is a better team this year than they did a year ago, which is kind of scary. So those are my two, Gray.
I'm excited to see my girl Lindsay Fico at FGCU. They've kind of molded. It's a little bit like a blended family there. They got some kids who were already part of the program. They got some kids coming over from Mercer. Mercer obviously had this big breakout year last year, making it to regionals and getting to the regional final in Gainesville, and hanging tough. But I want to see how that goes for Coach Fico. They've had to kind of shuffle the staff around a little bit. And that'll be an interesting team, because FGCU is always pretty tight whenever they play the Florida schools, Florida State, Florida, UCF. They're able to hang already. So can they keep up that momentum? And then I'm always interested in Wichita State. Like, can they keep doing the thing? Can they keep being the big bombers? Can they keep putting a scare in Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and some of the other schools that they play throughout the year? You mentioned FAU. That is a team that I'm very high on coming into the season. And then, I look at the other thing I'm intrigued by is the mid-majors that had a star who graduated. So like in North Florida, Allison Benning, who we had on this show during last season, she had a great year, led them to new heights, heretofore unseen in program history. She's now graduated. So what happens next? Can these programs that utilized a key player sustain the momentum that they gained in that season with that All-American type arm or bat? Those are the kinds of stories I'm always intrigued by, because that shows which coaches have truly built programs that can last.
Yeah, and I want to also add in my West Coast mid-major, San Diego State and Cal State Fullerton as well. I always keep an eye on those two over there out on the West Coast, because, again, so many incredible programs within driving distance. They play tough schedules and always are in the mix there. And head coach Stacy Newman and Denise over at San Diego State just always gets that squad. She gets more out of her squad than I think most. So again, shout out to those two.
Amanda is up in the chat.
Oh, we should have
Our
her jump
girl.
on.
I know, the Scarborough. I'm so excited for a new season to start and hear you guys every week. Hard eyes emoji. Amanda, I can't wait to start texting you at all hours of the night going, did you watch this game? And then talking about that game. And coming on this show and out of the box and all the other stuff. It's going to be fun.
Amazing. I saw that earlier. So excited.
Xavier, are you taking Texas or the field to win it all this year? Big believer in Texas, the field. 100% the field.
It's really, really hard to repeat. I mean, I know that we're jaded because Coach Gasso has been able to get the Sooners to repeat, but it's really hard to go back to back. And I think they've got all the tools. I think how they respond. And once you've been there, though, Gray, like I can tell you, once you've gotten over that hump and you've won a national championship, you then know what it feels like, and it's not as big. So I will say the field as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if that group was able to come together. Again, my biggest question mark is how early Wine gets along with those hitters. And, you know, we saw what he did at Ole Miss, though. So, you know.
But I will say, though, but that came together kind of late. I mean, it took, it came together. They got to OKC, but they were also the 11 seed at the SEC tournament the week before. So sometimes the messaging does take time to truly sink in. So the Texas we might get in March probably won't even be close to the Texas we get in May.
Which is what you want anyways. You want to build up over the season. So I will take the field. But actually, again, like I said, once you've been there, it's a little bit different feeling to get back there because you know what it feels like.
Cheyenne, this was not a question but a comment. Maybe Arkansas can finally make it to OKC. I just wanted to – I'll keep it on the page. Sorry. I wanted to add that I kind of get the vibe from Courtney Deifel that they feel like they're in as good a spot as they can be. Like last year, when we had her on the show, she talked a lot about the bad luck of having your top two pitchers get food poisoning right before Supers against a team that kind of had your number in the regular season. And Arkansas has had some draws even when they've hosted teams in the postseason that have been bad luck draws, teams that are bad matchups for Arkansas. Talking with her, I just got the feeling that that I think that if it's ever going to happen, it's now. Like I get the feeling that this team is built the right way with Dakota Kennedy, with all the pitchers back except for the one Courtney Day inning. Like I just think that Arkansas, it feels like now's the time, and I'm very curious to see if they can pay it off. This is a year I think where I would feel comfortable picking Arkansas in the preseason, even though most years I'm like, well, I'm not going to pick you until you show me you can do it. But this year I can see a world where it happens.
I agree with you, Gray. I think I said it last pod or 2 pods ago that I was picking Arkansas, that this is the year. And I have the same feeling. In speaking with Coach Deifel, I do think the Razorbacks make it to the Women's College World Series here. And I had some really good conversations with DJ Gasso. I think they're going in the right directions. So I'm picking Arkansas to make it to the Women's College World Series. Saying it now on January.
I'm catching up. This blank or the field question really took on a life of its own in the chat. Jason asks, just to add on to that question, on January 6th. By the way, Jason does great work on the site. Go check out all his articles. They're going to be fantastic, and the metrics are incredible, so go see what Jason writes. He says, on January 6th, do you take Oklahoma, Texas, Texas Tech, or the rest of the field?
I'm taking OU, Texas, Texas Tech.
I think I am, too.
I'm taking that. I don't know. Oregon's going to be sneaky, I think. I'm high on Tennessee. Yeah.
I'm less high on Tennessee as a national championship pick until I see them play. I do think Oregon feels I feel pretty comfortable in the capabilities of Oregon. I think this is the kind of year where Florida State makes a reemergence.
About the Noles, absolutely.
It feels like one of those like sneaky Florida State years after kind of not being as splashy the last season and a half, I would say.
Yeah, and let
I
me tell
think I would go with the trio, though, just to answer the
you,
question.
I'm going with the trio too. But Florida State, obviously, I got firsthand look of Jazzy Frantic this past summer, and she's elite, and just a joy to coach, a joy to be around, and she's got some really good stuff. So I'm excited to see how she does in her sophomore campaign, because now everybody's got film, right?
Right.
So we always wonder how that's going to be. But Florida State was able to watch them against Auburn, which I saw Auburn in the chat earlier. Again, another team to keep an eye on, and how the Malvos do in their second year. But yeah, I agree. I know your burner was talking about Florida State here as well, Gray.
So here's the Auburn mention from Cheyenne. You know who could be
It
a
is.
sneaky team? Auburn.
Yeah.
I agree. I need to see what offensive pieces, in an Auburn uniform, what these offensive pieces look like. They brought in a lot of kids from kind of all over the place, Lipscomb and LSU and Tennessee. And, I'm a big Kylie Shaw guy. I've talked about her excessively. I think she could be a truly elite leadoff in this league as she matures more as a player. But I want to see how all those pieces congeal on offense. I don't have many questions about the Auburn pitching staff. I think that the Ella Harrison addition with SJ Guerin will allow SJ to kind of be where she's at her best, which is at a reliever and closer role, and not necessarily as a starter. You can have Ella Harrison, where the bulk of that. You got some talented freshmen coming in. I think that Auburn is a interesting team. Their conference schedule is very hard, but I think that Auburn could pick off some folks and could frankly kind of shape how the SEC standings go by some of the wins that they're able to collect.
Yeah, and when you talk about Auburn and wanting to see some things, I watched 2 of their fall ball games, Gray, and I saw 2 very different Auburn teams. One day they played defense, and the next day they didn't. So can that pitching staff roll some ground balls, and can they play defense? And when they did really well against Florida State. Now, I also watched them against Georgia Tech, and it was a different story. So, but I think Riker Chase in there, the pitching coach, does a really nice job of putting pieces together. And he's even got Tambora throwing very well. And I was really impressed with her this fall. So a team at the SEC, when we start talking about these teams, we haven't even talked about South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
The entire SEC, I know everyone thinks we're SEC heavy, but when you look at the competition, it's going to be another tough year.
Yeah, there are a lot of SEC teams that there are like 2 or 3. A lot is excessive. There are 2 or 3 teams that I still feel I don't have a great grip on. And I also understand. I had a coach in the league send me some data. I'm not sure if I can say his or her name on the show, but they sent me some data about preseason polls and how those have compared to the standings over the years, and it was very interesting. Do you want to take a guess how, like, we're talking SEC preseason coaches poll, which team in the conference do you think has finished? I don't want to use overrated and underrated, but who have all the coaches and therefore a lot of us media been too high on too much in the last 5 years and too low on, if you had to guess?
Ooh. Too low on Ole Miss or South Carolina?
That's a good guess. What about too high? I'm pulling up the data
now. Too high. LSU, Georgia?
All right. That's not bad. So we've been too low on Mississippi State and Texas A&M.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we've been too high on LSU and Georgia. I say we like I'm voting. I'm not. It's the coaches. But I thought that was really interesting.
So Mississippi State and
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I see that too. There's just so many teams in the SEC now. I need my board with all my teams on it. I got to get it going now that season's about to start. I got to put my whiteboard up.
I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I just want to flash this one. Julie, non-softball related, but Gray, Stranger Things, mind-blown emoji. Wonderful finale. Had a blast. Do you watch Stranger Things, Tara?
I do, but I haven't watched the new season.
Okay, I won't say anything else. Okay. I should have been drinking from my mug.
Oh, I'm drinking from morning, honey.
That Southern accent just came so naturally for you.
Sorry, I mean, I'm not Southern, but that's what it looks like in my head when I drink it. So, anyways, sorry, guys.
I love the Stranger Things shout out. Let's see. Jeremy, Roll Tide, just finished listening to Media Days on the Out of the Box podcast.
Yeah. Those are great, by the way. I don't know. I hope you guys listen to the Media Days. I know that 3 hours can seem like a lot, but they go by really, really fast. I put them on while I'm cleaning, while I'm walking the dog, while I am in the car, and I learn so much. And I'm hopeful, Gray, that you and I can also get some other conferences involved to do something similar, because I learned so much listening to you and Tom talk to every single coach about what they're seeing. So if you haven't already checked out the Out of the Box Softball Media Days, I encourage you to.
One thing that took me by surprise at convention, which, by the way, I don't even know if we talked about us being in Vegas and doing the whole thing. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were in Vegas.
I had a coach come up to me and say, "Oh, I've been listening to Media Days." And I was like, "You have? But you were on it." And this coach said, "Oh yeah, no, it helps me kind of like get a basis on where the league is going into the season." And I was fascinated by that comment. I had always considered it a opportunity for not only me and Tom to get ready for the year and to talk to the coaches and kind of understand the mindset and the roster pieces of the teams, but for fans, for other media. I know back when she was broadcasting, Kayla Bro was listening to it every week, and she would text me. Like we hear from people. I hadn't considered the fact that coaches were using it to kind of pick up a little detail or two on other teams in the conferences or in the conference. So that was interesting.
Why not? I mean, there's info in there. That's like fun scouting.
Yeah. And you get to hear me crack some jokes, which is always fun. You get to hear who every coach's emergency contact is.
That is so good. The emergency phone call is so good. I love that. It's like
the winner this year was Karen Weekly, like kind of in a landslide.
I can see why.
We got another question from Jason. What teams do you believe has the most complete and deepest pitching staff in the country?
It's a good question. I mean, Berzon and Huachenio in itself are pretty good with Deal. So OU, Texas. I think Florida State is going to be able to put some pieces together there. I think Lonnie, again, does a really incredible job with the pitch by committee. It's a good question.
I don't know if I can drop them for deepest, but my analysis of LSU's pitching staff has been that this is a very well-rounded staff. And so I think that by definition would have them in the running for most complete, because you got up, you got lefty, you got hard down, you got pretty much every option.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's not as deep as some of the teams that you just mentioned, but I think that the well-roundedness will make them tough to prep for. So I would consider answering LSU for the first part of that question.
Yeah, I like that, actually. And I talked to Beth a little bit about the pitching staff, and I think she feels the same way. Like you said, you got a lefty, you got up, you got down. And again, another pitcher that was had the pleasure of hanging out with this past summer, Peyton Monticelli. I think she's going to do some big things there at LSU. So, and yeah, we can't forget about Tech. We know. I feel like we almost am like, oh yeah, obviously Tech.
And Nyjah.
And Caitlin Terry.
Right.
Like Bulldog in the circle. I mean, oof.
Interesting. Yeah. A lot of people were nailing the too high on. Julie, I don't want to spoil anything for Tara, but
Oh, is this about Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Oh. I'll get on it, you guys. I gotta watch it.
Xavier, we'll wrap this up in a few minutes, but thank you for all the questions.
I know. Wow, this is great.
Yeah, which non-West Coast Big Ten teams do you think can make a postseason run other than Nebraska?
Which non-West? Well, Michigan and Northwestern are always in the hunt. Like they're just been perennial powers in the Big Ten. So I would probably go with one of those two.
I don't know if I would say either for a deep postseason run. As the question
Well, the question
states,
is non-West Coast Big Ten team other than Nebraska. We have to give one.
I don't know if I buy any of them as a deep postseason run team. I do think one team that's going to be really fun this year, and they're coming to Tuscaloosa, so I'll probably get to broadcast some of their games, which is very, very exciting. I can't wait to see them in person, is Purdue. Mm-hmm. I think after what they did last year, that run through the Big Ten tournament to the bubble, that's the first time I can recall Purdue being on the bubble since I've been a part of the sport, broadcasting it. And that was really, really exciting. They bring back a lot of those pieces. I think that Purdue could be a really, really interesting team that has a shot to make the NCAA tournament, and they are going to have opportunities in the non-conference, like in Tuscaloosa, to pick up some big wins and make a statement. Do I think they can make a postseason run to OKC? Not really, but I think that they could be a really, really fun chaos team, not just in the Big Ten, but maybe in regionals should they have the metrics to make it.
I like it. And Fang brought up Ohio State as well. I like that pick, Fang.
There you go. Ohio State is always hard. Rebecca, literally don't care if Media Day apps hit 5 hours. I dare you. I will say there have been some episodes over the years that I've had to take out like an hour and a half of audio. Not for Media Days.
There's some unheard audio that could potentially be released later.
Not for Media Days, but like from Gray and Tom chatting. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah, Cheyenne, great point. I'll get on it, said Tara about Stranger Things during her busiest time of the year. Tara, you have 1 month to watch the last season.
I've got 30 days. I could just get in an episode every week. How many are there? 2 episodes a week?
8.
Ooh.
And they're really, the last one is basically the length of an Out of the Box podcast.
Okay, well, I'm going to try, you guys. I'm on it.
I have gotten to the end of a chat.
Yeah, me too.
Anything else? Last call.
Oh, freshman class, the biggest impact freshman class. We did miss that one.
Good poll.
Wow, you guys had so many questions. I didn't know if we were going to have a lot of questions. I mean, I should know what people are excited, but we had lots of questions. So which team do you think has the biggest impact of a freshman class? Gray, do you want to go first or you want me to go?
You go first. I'm still thinking.
OU. I think OU, Tennessee, and Florida State. I was actually able to watch both Florida State and Tennessee in person, but OU's freshman class is pretty elite.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an easy answer.
I know, but it's the right answer, even if it's easy.
No, I mean, sometimes the easy answer is the correct answer, and that's why it's easy. Like the way that Coach Gasso has been talking about Kendall Wells is different. I think for Alabama to do what they want to do, it's going to hinge a lot on what the freshman pitchers are capable of. So that is an impactful freshman class, I will say. I think it'll be positive based on what I've seen in fall ball, but it also could not be. Who's to say? There are other freshmen who stick out to me. I think the Texas crew is interesting because last year they didn't have to bring in anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've actually got like a full freshman class. They brought in a couple transfers as well, but this is kind of the first time in a few years they've had to truly inject a lot of new blood, and I want to see uh, how much time a lot of those freshmen are able to get in the lineup, get in the circle, and how much of an impact they can truly make, because it's a very talented class. I just don't know how much they're going to see the field because there are so many people coming back.
Yeah, and I know Patty Ruth Taylor's high on Hannah Wells, or just that she's incredibly athletic. She's going to be utility for them. So working in the bullpen and obviously taking BP as well. So I agree with you, Gray. Again, this is what makes it so exciting. And I know our freshman list is going to be coming out soon, and it's rather long. And I know Brady's been working hard talking to coaches, looking at film. I know myself and Jen obviously were able to watch some of these freshmen who were playing last summer in travel ball. So be on the lookout for that. And hopefully we can give you some insight on the next players to watch. I love that Fang is taunting you in the chats to pick.
What did Fang say?
He's like, I know. I love it.
Well, I'm being honest. Like, a lot is going to be put on those freshmen. So if Alabama wants to do what they typically do, then the freshmen are going to have to be great. That's just a fact of the matter. And I think they can be, but that's a lot, that's hard. It's not easy nowadays for freshmen to come in and be superstars. Doesn't happen all that often. Fang asked, or I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just the speed of the game, going from being a senior in high school to a freshman in college, the speed of the game is huge. And I know it's a big jump for most, but some of them, like you said, Gray, are prepared and ready and can do it. But it is a tough jump going from senior year in high school to freshman year in college.
Fang asked, player of the year, pitcher of the year, freshman of the year picks. Way too early.
Player of the year, Jordy Fromm.
Okay. I think I'll go with the double trouble pitching and hitting.
Double trouble. I think I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Pitcher of the year. I'm going with Carlin Pickens. I'm going with Pickens. Are you going with Pickens?
I was about to say Pickens.
I almost went with Nigel. I'm going with Pickens. Freshman of the year, Kendall Wells.
It's a good answer. I'm going to go with Elsa Morrison at Tennessee.
That's
my pick.
I like that pick.
Way too early with no notes and no prep. I'm going with Elsa Morrison.
I mean, no, she was impressive. I watched her this fall. I like that pick. Like I do. I'm good with that.
Fang's right. I did pick Shoemaker, freshman of the year last year. So
you
Elsa,
did?
I did. Elsa, congratulations. You're getting it, girl.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Look, you know what? I'm just trying to hit 333, be all conference, and and then maybe be an All-American depending on who the site rep is. That's all I think we have time for. We've gone way over, but we're very, very grateful to everybody in the chat.
Maybe we need to do another one.
This was a rousing success.
Yeah. If you guys like these mailbag shows, we could do another one. Just let us know. We will get a guest on here pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we could do like in season mailbag specific shows. Like we have our regular show on a Monday or Tuesday. We're still deciding. You can let us know what you think in the chat. But then maybe on a Thursday where we're not traveling, we can pop in and do a full mailbag show. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I love it. Amazing. Thank you, guys. Great to see everybody. Wish we could actually see everybody. I mean, the chat's good, but.
Well, but I'm gonna put this up like for those watching. I mean, look at all the people coming in saying the things. We appreciate each and every one of you. Tara, delightful Tara. Thank you for coming on today. It's always fun to see you, my friend. Happy New Year and happy softball season.
Happy New Year. Happy softball season, everybody. Oh my gosh, we're so close. I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for being here. Thank you for making our sport so great and helping us grow this thing, because without you, we wouldn't be here.
That's true. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to everybody tuning in. For my partner, Terry Henry, I'm Gray Robertson. We are less than a month from softball season. We'll have more content coming soon. Stay tuned on the socials. We'll let you know when the next shows will be. Until then, thanks for joining us on Good Morning Softball America. We'll see you next time.